What is going on, fellow Bitcoin and crypto knights out there in the YouTube world watching us live or on playback, or if you're watching us from some other form of technological communication? I'm Don. Next to me on the screen is Troy, hardest working nobodies in Bitcoin and crypto. We're going to talk about everything crypto in the last week, and there's a lot to talk about because we had a Bitcoin conference. A couple of big things happened at the Bitcoin. Some people like to say very huge things happened
Huge, huge.
at the Bitcoin conference. Me and Troy are going to talk about how we feel about that because I think we have some differing opinions from the conversations that we had offline in regards to who we thought was better, RFK or Trump. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll dive into that. We'll talk about some of the other things that happened this week in Nashville in Bitcoin 2024. We'll talk about the current state of the markets. We're having a little bit of a dip today. We'll talk about that, why we think that's happening, and anything else that seems to pop up. Troy, how you feeling? How you feeling out there in the ethos?
I'm feeling fantastic, man. This dip, we needed this. We needed this. Once you see on Twitter everyone talking about like Solana, like for example, Solana like broke it's like 193. Once people are like, I'm in profit, like you just know like crypto's so volatile, it has such high swings and such high swings on the low side. I never get like that's like the saying in our group chat, feel nothing. Like I try to
Yeah.
like feel nothing when I approach this industry because the market's so volatile. You'll be up 5% one day, 10% the next day, and then down, 20%. But you have to play the long game and just understand macroeconomic cycles, which we can talk about like interest rates and all that stuff with the Fed and what actually happened today. We can talk about Powell and get deeper into the macros.
Yeah, let's start with the Bitcoin conference. Let's start with Trump because that's the big headliner, right? Uh,
Yeah.
President Trump spoke this weekend, and it's the first time of any of the Bitcoin conferences that we've had that major of a political figure. I mean, we've had RFK speak, Ramaswamy spoke last year. Cynthia Loomis. We've had politicians. Ro Khanna was even there from the Dems this year. We can talk a little bit about that. But Trump is obviously the biggest political figure, being a former president, we've ever had speak at a Bitcoin conference. I know we fall on different sides because we talked about this. I was how do I say this without offending people that are super excited about Trump and about him being embracing Bitcoin. Um, I'll start with kind of what I posted on Twitter. As somebody that's been in this space for 10 years, I'm very happy and excited to have Trump speak and be the figure that he is speaking about Bitcoin. So I think that's a good thing. The long-term vet in Bitcoin that is in me was happy to see that. Uh, Putting that aside, I was rather disappointed with the speech itself. I think to the untrained ear, it sounded really good. He said things that could get people excited. I think that the speechwriter, whoever that was, I'm assuming it was somebody probably under 40 years old, did a very good job hitting talking points. I thought there were a lot of good talking points in the speech. But I think what was left to be desired was when he was speaking what seemed to be organic, a little bit off the cuff, which he'll do even if he has a teleprompter. It didn't really seem like he really has a full grasp of Bitcoin, which, to be completely and totally fair, I wouldn't expect him to. I don't think he has the time running a campaign or getting shot at to spend the 10,000 necessary hours to really dive down the rabbit hole and fully grasp it. But I really felt that the speech itself was kind of just like giving you a little like, oh, let's get you excited about this.
Yeah, yeah,
Fire
yeah.
Gary Gensler. Like, yeah, everybody was cheering about Fire Gary Gensler. He knew the things to say to get the crowd, and he's really good at that. Like, that's one of his strong points. Like, he knows the crowd that he's speaking to, and he knows what to say to get the crowd fired up and to get them on his side. So I felt like he was doing a lot of that. He was getting the crowd on his side. But substance wise, I think that the speech that Jesus, I almost said R. Kelly. God, forbid. RFK gave a day or two before that was way better of a speech. And
Yeah.
and again, to be fair, RFK has been hanging around our space for like 2 years now. He was at Bitcoin 2023. He's been doing a lot of Bitcoin podcasts. He's been hanging around with a lot of Bitcoiners. I mean, he's Sailor's peeled his ear back. So you can tell when he talks, he gets it. And he says things that you are like, okay, this dude's done some research. Like he knows what he's talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And RFK went first, and he made mention of the strategic reserve. And then Trump obviously said that as well. And I felt when RFK said it, there was more of I'm saying this because it fulfills a lot of things that we need to do. And I feel like Trump said it because it was a Bitcoin conference and saying that the Bitcoiners was going to get
Yeah.
riled up. But I don't really think he
I
understands
noticed.
what that means. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like I noticed he was rambling off a little bit. Like I was watching it, and I was trying to get my dad to watch it with me, but he was doing yard work, and he wanted nothing to do with it. And he still texts me to this day. Don't go all in on crypto, even though like the president's saying they're never selling. What did they that Bitcoin that they seized right from Silk Road, they're not selling that. But yeah, I mean, I thought he was rambling a little bit, but I did like how I mean, he might just be a good talker. It really will come
Oh, he
down
is
to
a good,
November.
not
Well,
right.
it'll
He is a
no,
very
he
good
is,
talker.
and it's gonna come down to November on what he if he actually practices what he preaches. Um, the market did tank a little bit. Like I was watching the charts while he was speaking, and it was tanking. Like he was rambling. He was talking about like immigration and like we're at a Bitcoin conference. I was like, come on, dude, like stay on the topic. And then he would get back on it, and then get the crowd wild up. But I mean, I had a good time watching it. I would actually love to go to one in person. I know the next one's in Las Vegas in
Yeah, dude,
2025.
we're there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be
We're
there.
there.
And
I
I did.
saw that. I saw that the other day, and I texted my group chat of my friends that I go to Vegas with every year, and we didn't go this year. First year that we haven't gone, and I'm like, dude, like we always go like right around the beginning of May, and this is at the end of May, and I'm just like, there's absolutely no excuse
Yeah.
we don't go next year, and we're gonna have a
Yeah.
+1 because Troy's coming with.
And we'll have 100K Bitcoin hopefully by then. But
Oh
I don't
man,
like
can
to
you
do.
imagine
I
what it's
don't.
gonna look like next year? Yeah,
Oh my,
yeah, yeah.
we're gonna be living good. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I like Michael Saylor's his slides he presented. That was very educational. Obviously, he understands it more than anyone else and can explain it and articulate it. And I try to send that video to my father but you have to do your 10,000 hours of research. If you're not doing 10,000 hours and that's with anything in life to master anything. But then there's an additional 10,000 hours of like mastering it. Like the first $10,000 or not dollars, the first 10,000 hours is understanding it, understanding the old traditional money system, and then like another additional. So it's a never-ending growth. Like you never stop learning Bitcoin, and that's what I'm starting to realize is like we don't even know the future of what Bitcoin's going to present for whether it's an institution, whether it's I like an individual. I know Mark Cuban just talked about how they had something licensed, something with the DMV on the. Did you put that in the notes? Mark Cuban, something with a bunch of DMVs are going to be certified on the blockchain in San Francisco, I believe.
No,
I'm not sure. I don't know if you can pull that up really quick, but I thought that was interesting. I think that's like the next step into onboarding like real use cases of like the underlying infrastructure of blockchain technology is people like registering their cars or going to the DMV and everything being ran on the blockchain. So it's slowly but surely going to happen. I'm actually I moved location, so I lived in a different town. I'm in a different town. We have a Bitcoin mining. Don, did I tell you this? We have a Bitcoin mining farm right across the street from me, like literally in my backyard, and I hear it all day. The fans are constantly going. I actually like did a little tour and I walked around it at night. It's pretty cool though, man. Like how could you not be bullish when I literally have a Bitcoin mining farm in my backyard? That's insane, dude.
yeah.
I know I rambled a little bit, but
No, I'm trying to find the thing that you talked about Cuban, and I'm unable to get it, but
I can pull it up real quick.
yeah, if you can find it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
This
that's
is
all right.
live. Well,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So basically, I thought RFK was a one up on Trump in regards to speaking. Obviously, Saylor is the top dog when it comes to the conferences and the polished
oh, I
presentations
got
that
it.
he gives. And I think that the big takeaway from Bitcoin 2024 was that the strategic reserve asset conversation, I think, is happening a lot faster than we expected. I don't think we had that on the bingo card for 2024. You know, we got the ETFs.
I did like.
Whether
What more
whether
could
it
you
happens,
expect?
whether it happens or not in 2025, different conversation. But just the fact that we're having the conversation now, and then the other big thing that happened too, and I want to mention it. Ro Khanna, who's a Democrat, he spent the week at Bitcoin 2024. He's very pro crypto, and there was a bill that he was a part of that was co-sponsored by, like, I don't know if it was a bill or it was a letter. I can't remember what it was, but it was like 24 or 25 different Democrats who wrote to the top people in the party saying that we gotta make this more of an important thing that we speak about party wide, because we're allowing the Republicans to get the upper hand in regards to this asset class. And you know, I don't, it's hard to tell. Everything happens so fast, especially online. It's hard to tell what's true and what isn't. But what I was seeing was that Kamala was invited and then declined. The It
Yeah.
happened so quick. It was like the rumor was she was invited. It was like literally days before the conference was going to start, and then it came out saying that she declined. I don't know, maybe scheduling conflict. In fairness to her, I don't know how fair it is for her. She's in the middle of a campaign. She just got basically the nomination of the Democratic Party coronation, for her to just drop everything and show up at this Bitcoin conference.
Hmm.
I don't know if I necessarily give her negative points for that. I mean, I would give her negative points for many other things, but I think it's a little unfair to judge her based on the fact that she was asked so late and that she has all these other commitments going on. And for her to show up at this conference that I don't even think her party, outside of like select Democrats, really even has a position or a stance, because they spent 3.5 years basically attacking the space with Elizabeth Warren leading the charge. You know what I mean? And Biden not really helping much
Hmm.
out. So I
Yeah.
think I think there's a lot of potential for her to be influenced by this, and people like Ro Khanna, and the fact that the ticket's gotten younger, and she'll probably choose a VP very soon, and some of the potential picks are also young as well. And I think it would serve her well if she does pick somebody that's younger and has an ear to the street when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. I think it'll be good for that side. The larger point that I want to make, that we're talking about this, because I definitely got into some Twitter back and forth with people, because again, while I think that it's great that Trump spoke and RFK had a great speech and all that, I still come right back to the same spot of, this is just not it. Bitcoin is apolitical. It doesn't need politics. We don't, like, people think we need Trump or we need the Democrats. We don't need anybody. We don't need any of these people, right? And I say that because this thing was born from the great financial crisis in 2009, because of the fact that these politicians couldn't get their shit together. So Bitcoin was created as a result of that. And we've survived this long without them. We went from $0 to 70,000 as of 2021 without any of them, right? So we don't need them. They need us more than we need them. And especially now that more and more people are adopters of crypto and Bitcoin, because now the voting class is this swath of people that are here. So we don't need them. Like, there's no laws that you could, like, oh well, they can make Bitcoin illegal, or they can make crypto. It's like these other countries have tried that and they've all seen that doesn't work. So they need us more than we need them. Bitcoin's apolitical. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. Like, when you're under the orange umbrella, it's orange or it's not orange. There is no politics when it comes to Bitcoin. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. You saw the Bitcoin conference was really good to see because you had, just regular politicians. Obviously, you see the big name being a Republican, but there were Democrats, both Democrat politicians as well as just Democrats at that convention. It wasn't just all Republicans or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You got a mix of different political ideologies that all get together under the Bitcoin umbrella.
Don, I, because this has been on my mind while you were speaking. I want to go back to that because that's a really good talking point. California's DMV has digitized 42 million car titles using blockchain technology in a bid to detect fraud and smoothen the title transfer process. The agency and its technology partners exclusively told Reuters on Tuesday. Guess what blockchain they're using?
Okay.
Just
So
guess.
that's like
guess what blockchain they're using? You won't
Solana
guess
or
it.
Ethereum?
Nope.
Solana or Ethereum?
Nope.
No?
Avalanche.
Wow. Yeah, well,
And
I wouldn't have got that.
I like that. So, but yeah, that's cool to see. But back to what you're saying. Yeah, I totally agree about like it's apolitical. Like Bitcoin's going to survive and it's going to do well under a Democratic or a Republican president. And that's where like maybe you'll have some FUD like going into the elections, but overall, like I think like you can't stop Bitcoin, man. It's its own it's in its own lane, and you can't really like you can't manipulate it. You can't do. I mean, you can do like monetary policies that there's that. But do you want to like dive into like what you think about? Like, let's say Camilla like did get in office. Like, let's say like
Kamala?
there's not like because what
Kamala?
I say? What I say? Camilla?
Camilla?
God, Camilla. I don't know. She's so like. Do you genuinely believe like this will have zero impact on? Because again, this all comes down to like fiscal and monetary policies. And if we have irresponsible people behind these in Congress, like what is this going to do to like the global liquidity and like the interest rates and stuff like that? Because that we both have like
Well,
and as
th-
I'm
th-
learning and growing through this
this
process,
is where this is where I veer off from your typical Republican because again, we had a whole podcast talking politics. When it comes to like fiscal responsibility, we don't have a candidate running that's proven that they have fiscal responsibility on either side.
yeah,
Period.
they
End of
both like
statement.
they both like spending money. We know that.
Both of their administrations skyrocketed the national debt. And actually, everybody's pro Republican and pro Trump. It actually went up higher on Trump's than it has so far on Biden's. Just to be completely fair and transparent.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with COVID, to be fair. But like I said before, Trump was the first one to start the stimulus, and he went out the door yelling for more money to go out. So the fiscal responsibility is not there on either side. So no matter who wins, no matter who the candidates are that are leading us, again, why I come back to the point that Bitcoin is apolitical, we're going to get terrible monetary policy no matter what, regardless.
Yeah, but Trump came in during Corona.
No, he didn't come in he went out during Corona. The first 3 years of his administration was the economy was doing well, but we were still spending because we've been spending since the great financial crisis. Spending didn't stop. It just was at a lower pace than it was when the pandemic happened and we just flooded the economy with insane amounts of dollars. But it doesn't mean that before that we weren't still stimulating. We were stimulating for like over a decade prior to that.
But I know you said you like RFK's speech at the Bitcoin conference. His polls like on Polymarket, like so Polymarket is a really great on-chain platform where you actually put money where your mouth is. So like instead of having all these fake false media, like mainstream media, news, whatever, you can actually put up bets on which candidate you think have a higher probability of winning. And RFK's, like 1%. He's not doing well at all. Like there's a high probability. Yeah,
he has
no shot.
I'm not saying he has any chance to win. He doesn't. He has no shot to win. Almost zero. He's a third party candidate. We don't elect third party candidates.
You froze a little bit. All right, you're back.
it's going to be
because
it's
of
going to be either the Republicans or Democrats. It's not going to be RFK's only chance is if Trump wins, he gets on Trump's cabinet in some capacity. That's about
yeah.
the extent for that. Um, I want to talk real quick about Cynthia Loomis. She at the Bitcoin conference, she crafted a bill and then it's been submitted uh, to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve and other programs to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government to offset costs utilizing certain resources of the Federal Reserve System and for other purposes. In the United States Senate in the Senate of the United States, Ms. Loomis introduced the following bill, which was read twice and referred to the committee on and has a date to establish that the strategic Bitcoin reserve being enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. And then it goes into talk about specifically what they plan to do. And
Oh.
most of that basically is about the money that you kind of said it already. The money from the Silk Road that they have, like 200,000 Bitcoin that they seized from Ross Ulbricht and Silk Road that they're holding on to. And then we saw a day or two after the convention ended, we saw like 30, I think it was like 30,000 coins moved from
Mm-hmm. To a
cold
Coinbase wallet.
storage onto one of so and they were saying, oh look, like they talked to strategic and now the administration is going to start selling. As far as I know, they haven't sold anything yet, and I think that's part of what we're seeing. The dumping is the fear that they're going to sell. I don't trust the government to do anything smart. I mean, they sold a ton. They literally could have had almost a million coins, somewhere around that, because Tim Draper came in and bought like three or four different tranches of coins back in 2015 at like $500 a coin, and he bought like 20,000 coins, 30,000 coins, etc. So I mean, I don't trust them to do much, but having somebody like Cynthia Loomis now in the Senate, at least speaking rational when it comes to Bitcoin in our space, and hopefully having some people that are adults in the room, maybe
Mm.
there's an opportunity that those coins don't move, and then after this election cycle ends, that they do actually utilize the Bitcoin as part of their reserve. I mean, can you imagine if they just let it sit and they watch it go from where it is now and it like 3 or 4 X's, and they're like, wait, maybe we got something here. Maybe we should start doing what like Saylor did on a larger scale and start like leveraging our debt to actually pay off the debt. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Triple maxi.
Saylor actually said that at his speech in
Yeah.
he said that the first country that goes 100% leverage debt to buy Bitcoin will win. Like they'll be the leader. The first country to get to, I think he said 4 million Bitcoin was the number he threw out there. I'm not really sure where he got that from, but like I think if a country got to 1 million, that'd be a big deal. I mean, can you imagine having, what would that represent? 8%.
I don't
No,
understand.
200,000, about 4.5% of the total supply. If a country were to get to 1 million coins.
What I don't understand is obviously they can print money out of thin air. Just click a button on a computer screen and print more money. Why don't they just buy as much Bitcoin as they possibly can if they know they have the money to do the research, to have the ability to understand this infrastructure, this new emerging digitized economy, digital capital, like digital energy. Like
Yeah,
why are they like why aren't they
yeah,
just going all in?
yeah.
If they
They
can print
can.
money out of thin air, why?
Yeah, because then they kickstart hyper Bitcoinization, and that leads to the collapse of the dollar. And they're not prepared for that yet. Society's not prepared for that.
Okay.
I mean, if they were to really buy in and go and like the price were to like a company, like they can't treat it like a company would treat a product and go all in on it and then profit off that and put their competitors out of business. Like the dollar is how they transact, the world transacts. So your trading partners go broke and now your products are basically
Yeah.
hyperinflated. And yeah, you have a lot of Bitcoin, but like everything else collapses around because
Mhm.
like that's the double-edged sword of hyper Bitcoinization. Like Bitcoiners get excited and we hear that term and we're like, yeah, man, I can't wait till hyper Bitcoinization, Bitcoin to the moon, to a million. It's like, yeah, but have you taken a step back and like thought about what that actually means and what that effect has on the rest of everything else that we do? Like if Bitcoin just started going, like if we woke up tomorrow and Bitcoin was moving in like $10,000 increments on the hour, that would be bad. We would be in some
T-
trouble.
tell me why.
If Bitcoin was like, let's say tomorrow we wake up and Bitcoin's at 80,000 and then every hour 90, 100, 110, 120, it's just like going absolutely parabolic. What that would represent is that the dollar is devaluing literally on the hour. Not like, month by month inflation, year over year, like literally disintegrating by the hour. Purchasing power would be disintegrating by the hour. You would be in a state of like Venezuela when if you got paid in the morning, basically the money got paid in the morning couldn't buy half the goods that you were able to buy in the morning when you got paid if you wait until the afternoon to do it. Or the better example, you worked all day and then when you woke up in the morning, the prices of the goods and services were double than when you actually got the money to go buy them. Like because the money's hyperinflating at a quick pace, right? So the conceptual nature of thinking about Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin, it's not that Bitcoin is worth more, it's that the dollar is worth less. Because that's the tool that we have to value dollar. What you always hear, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, right? You always hear that. One Bitcoin is always worth one Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is being priced in USD. So as USD buys less and less things, it makes Bitcoin's price based in that product higher and higher. Let's put Bitcoin over here for a second. Now I'll take a house, right? Let's say your parents bought a house in 1980 for 100,000, okay? And now in 2024, they sell that house for $500,000. It's not that the house is necessarily worth $500,000 back in 1980. It's worth $500,000 today because the buying power of the dollar is significantly less than it was in 1980. So that has to reflect the price of that house, which is the asset. It's not that the house got exponentially better. I'm sure it did if you did upgrades. There are some of that's baked in, but the overall expansion of the price is not due to the house getting that much better. It's due to the fact that the dollar's worth less. Take milk and eggs for the perfect example. Like we didn't make milk that much better. Bread is still bread, eggs are still eggs, milk is still milk. Look at the price 50 years ago and the price today. Why is that? It's because the unit of account that you're using to buy that is devalued. So it takes more of that to buy the same product. Ooh. It takes more of that to buy the same product. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
So when you're talking about Bitcoin's price going parabolic, and we saw this in 2020 during the insane amount of money printing, as we're flooding the economy with money, right? We're flooding the economy from 2020 to 2021. You have a Bitcoin that bottomed at 3K in March of 2020. Well, now you see this massive influx of cash, 40% of all the cash ever created in that 18-month time frame. So when you're flooding the economy, house prices are going up, your gas is going up, everything that you price in dollars is going up, not because it got better, because the unit of account that you're using to price it has gotten worse and it's devaluing. So if you woke up tomorrow and Bitcoin was going exponentially higher, guess what else is going exponentially higher? All the shit you need in your daily life and the dollars that you're going to purchase it with, you can't earn that. But like if you own Bitcoin, you're like, that's why when you own an asset like Bitcoin, you're going to always be good because you're going to be pacing or outpacing that dollar devaluation. But if I'm going to my job to earn more of the thing that's devaluing, right? I go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and let's say Bitcoin goes from 80,000 to 200,000 by the time I leave work. The dollars that they're going to pay me at the end of the day are not going to buy what I could have bought when I went to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm like, holy shit, I need more dollars, but I can't earn them quick enough. I need assets that I can convert that are outpacing the devaluation of that dollar. That's why putting money under the mattress is no good because you're holding on to the thing that's continually worth less. You want to get good hard assets, gold, silver, real estate. You want things, hard assets that are going to outpace it. MicroStrategy, even blue chip stocks. Like you want things that are being priced in that asset that are at least, at the very least, keeping up with the devaluation, right? Holding shit assets, buying a car, buying things that depreciate, or just holding physical cash, you're fucked
Yeah.
because you're losing buying power. It's a buying power.
I just made a. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I just made a tweet about like like the average daily expenses showing, whether it's a phone bill, whether it's insurances, rent, all these things. And if you add it came up to like $57,170. If you add it over 40 years, it was like $2.2 million. So if you had $2.2 million today, it would you would need $2.2 million today to survive for 40 years. That's not including inflation, tolls, tax, having a family. This is a single man. Like, dude, financial literacy is a language for the elites. People are getting decimated every single day, and they're not even acknowledging it, and it's sad. And that's kind of why we do these, because we want to educate the masses. And we're at a war. We're at a war with information, and it's so hard to trust and verify things online that it's why we're doing this. Is why we're trying to get and onboard as many people on chain and help people buy these hard assets and see the value proposition in these hard assets. It doesn't just have to be Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin.
Yeah, it comes back to the conversation about, okay, you're anti-Bitcoin. You don't believe in Bitcoin. Cool. You better find some asset that you can put your money in, something that's going to at least keep pace with the devaluation of the dollar. You can't buy things that aren't. If you can't find something that's not giving you 5% or more, and that's just conservative. If you're putting your money in things that aren't giving you at least 5, 6, 7, 8%.
No, even 5%, dude. Like you need more than that, dude.
I understand that, but
you're getting by.
Yes, I understand that. I'm saying there's people that are doing none of that. They're putting it in nothing that appreciates. They're going to work, they're putting their money in the bank, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they're making excuses that they don't have the money to save. It's like, all right, well, that strategy is going to absolutely decimate you, because at some point in time, you're going to realize that you're working harder. And then at some point, you're not going to be able to work as hard as you work today. And you're going to need assets, and you're not going to have those assets. And you're going to be in a position where your buying power is complete and utter trash, and you're going to be working poor.
Yeah.
And you did everything right. You didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah,
the system fails you, but you're not going to put yourself in a position to be able to survive. That's the battle.
The system is designed to enslave you. Like if you're making $57,000 or your expenses are $57,000 over the course of 40 years, it's not going to be 57,000. It's going to, because the goods and services are going up. And even if your wages are going up only 5%, it's still not, you're still going to have a deficit in the 40-year period. And unless you're investing, even if you're investing in the S&P 500, getting 8% a year, you're literally, it's a wash. It's a literally break even. Like you're just getting by. But not everyone's going to be pulling money out of that 401k or that S&P 500 investment, until like later down the road. So, in the meantime, you're going to be getting decimated. So what's the best way to break out of this? And truthfully, I think it's either starting a business, investing in emerging technologies and markets, or invent something. And I'm not Einstein. I can't invent something. I mean, I had a few ideas. They didn't work out. So I started a little business, and now like I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, Andrew Carnegie, and monitoring that basket closely. And that is crypto for me. And just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for the viewers out there watching this. But it's important to identify this and figure out a game plan. Because if you don't have a game plan, a plan without a plan is a pipe dream. So you have to acknowledge this and soak up as much information and put in your 10,000 hours. And, like we have information at our fingertips. Like people are just taking advantage of it. When you have something that's always there and people take advantage of it, and then when it's gone, then you realize the true like potential of it. That's kind of like what it is with the internet.
It's
So
it's sad. It's sad right now because people are definitely tuned out of the space right now. Like if you look
yeah,
at
dude,
the numbers of like,
lost.
I mean, we're not a good example because we don't have high viewership or high subscribers, but
Yeah, but
the
that's
channels
fine.
that do, the channels that do are even seeing much less views, or they're even losing subs because people are just not paying attention.
Yeah,
They're not really
Eh,
tuned in, which is sad because
yeah,
this is the time. I mean, the best time to be tuned in was when we first started the podcast in 2022. That was the absolute best time. The next best time is right now. Like when you want to be, front running stuff. You don't want to
yeah,
be trying to catch up when everybody else is already running, right?
yes, yes,
You don't want to be the guy that is in a building that's burning and you're like one of the last ones to find out and everybody's already going to the exit and you're screwed. Like you're going to burn. You're not getting out, right? You want to know that the fire is about to start so you can be the first one to the exit and make it out of the building. That's what's happening.
skate.
The building's on fire and people are just sitting in their seats and they're not even paying attention.
My favorite quote: "Skate to where the puck's going, not where the puck's at." So you have to kind of have like a creative, innovative, visionary, skill set to be able to see and identify this. Because most people are just trying to get, by, just trying to survive with food and water and the hierarchy of needs and stuff. But there's only so much we could do. And I do want to bring up another big Bitcoin guy, Max Kaiser, because I seen him on the Bitcoin conference, and I know he lives in El Salvador, and he's really pushing people to move to El Salvador for tax benefit, and just it's the Bitcoin. I would say it's a Bitcoin country, and I'm honestly, Don, I'm honestly considering that. For the viewers out there, I'm going remote to Medellin, Colombia. I'm not going to say my exact location, but I'm going to be there for a couple months, and I'm going to be traveling to different countries and seeing what works for me and see what I like and see what fits my lifestyle, and maybe I end up in El Salvador. You don't know, man. Like, isn't the taxes insane? Like, what are the you want to talk about like the taxes for people that buy and sell Bitcoin in El Salvador? Do you
I
have
don't
that
I
data?
don't I don't know the data specifically. What I will say in regards to that is if I was single, didn't have kids, like your situation, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you if I was in a
Yeah.
situation similar to yours, there is no doubt in my mind that I would be living in El Salvador right now. No doubt in
So
my
you
mind.
would you would
Not even saying like probably or I would 100% as a Bitcoiner. If I was single, didn't have a family, no ties here, and
mhm,
it's
nothing.
much. I mean, people could say that you could still do it, but it's harder when I have kids and a
Yeah,
wife, and convincing them to do that. It's not optimal at this time. But if I
yeah.
was single and I had nothing holding me back, like if this was 2008 again when I moved to Vegas and I was single because I did this. I moved to Vegas for 6 months when I was 30 years old. I didn't have a family, didn't have kids, and I just want to see how it felt to live out there. And I just picked up and went. Like I would be in El Salvador right now, 100%.
Uh-huh.
Not even thinking about it. I'd be
It's
there and
that.
I'd be on Bitcoin Beach. I would be linked up with Max Kaiser in some sort of way. I'd be helping out the industry or helping out whatever way I could. And I would be doing a podcast from there. Maybe nobody be
Well,
watching
listen,
the podcast
Don.
either, but that I'd be there
Well,
100% in El
Don,
Salvador, no
I'll
doubt.
I'll do the ground and pound work. Traveling country to country, and you bring your Bitcoin knowledge, and I'll do my my networking and my stuff out there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. So we're doing something a little bit different today. This is a virtual Zoom. I plan on doing these more often. Um, yeah, this was great. Anything else on? Let's look at the. Did we talk about price today for
No,
the
you can
live
hit that
viewers?
real
For the
quick
live
if you want.
viewers, yeah. So for the live viewers, so we do have a little bit of a drawdown in the last 24 hours, 2% on. We'll do the yeah. So Ethereum's at 32.25. Bitcoin's 64 and a half, under
Yeah, low.
65. We need it to hold that level. And
Good.
Solana, my other favorite high beta
Why do you
altcoin.
what would you say? I mean, the fear and greed index right now is at 57. according to Coin Market Cap, which is little neutral. I mean, it's a little bit more than half. But what would you say is the catalyst? Because in the last 24 to 48 hours, we touched 68. Like it looked like we were on the move
It's
again.
70, dude. We almost touched 70.
Let me look.
And then the seller slammed us down, man. This is why we can't have nice things.
In the 1 day, 66.9. Let's go to the 7 day. Yeah. I mean,
It's
yeah, I
insanity.
didn't realize it got that high. 69.
So whoever's shorting Bitcoin is gonna be hates money, because once we blow past these
69.7. 69.71 was the high on the 29th, which is 2 days ago. Yeah, you're right. We almost hit 70.
dude,
So we
dropped
over $5,000 in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did want to mention something, Don. I consolidated my portfolio even less than a dozen, and I'm taking that out on to buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I am considering myself.
Hold on. Slow down. So you give the viewers, because at one point in time on this podcast, you had mentioned that you were in about 70 coins. And I know you cut down from that and you said that, but like one point in time, you own 70 different cryptocurrency coins. Tell the viewers at this moment right now, how many coins does Troy have in his portfolio?
I have less than 12. And all these altcoins that people buy, and I was a victim of it too. You see that cool thumbnail of, I'm not going to say names, but there's the next 100x or the next narrative, and this is the new utility. Like, fundamentals don't drive price. They could be a factor, they could be a conduit of liquidity, but it's mostly just it's culture, man. It's finding things and not overcomplicating it. Like, it's so useless to be diversified in crypto. It's useless because you can just be in the majors and outperform 99% of these shitcoiners that are trading. They're down, and I'm actually happy because I'm slowly becoming a maxi every single day. I despise shitcoiners now because I've lost a fair share.
What percentage of your portfolio at the current moment is in Bitcoin?
Oh, 15%.
15?
Yeah, 15, but I have...
That's the highest that you've ever had since we've been working together.
Yeah, I haven't been adding the Bitcoin.
5% is the last time I had that, you said 5.
No, I've only been adding to Solana and Ethereum, and I've been taking leverage out on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. But it doesn't show up in my coin stats chart, so I can't see the actual percentages. But with the leverage, it's probably getting up there. Yeah, I'm on high leverage right now, but it's calculated risks, and I know what I'm doing. I know what part of the cycle we are. Raul Paul talks about all the time. We're entering the banana zone, which is we're entering crypto summer. We're leaving spring. We're going into crypto summer. Not the seasons you're thinking of. And then fall, and then winter is the next bear market. So I'm getting ready to start really consolidating even more, taking profits into the majors and selling some of my Ethereum. I have more conviction in Bitcoin than Ethereum, but I'm getting ready to unload it because I was in I had 15 different ledgers, money scattered where I was wasn't losing it, but it's just I just was overcomplicating it, and that will hurt you. So it's important to be taking calculated risks and be less is more. Less is more, and just play the long game and understand global economic events and what drives markets. Not Alex Becker shilling 100x coin on YouTube. No, doing your research, looking on chain, and looking at data driven analytics and making your own thesis and judgments, and it's incredible. And I learned a lot, and I have to give a shout out to Tyler. Tyler, I'm sure he's not watching this, but we have to get him on. Yeah, we have to get him.
You mentioned Raul Paul, and I was going to say I would take Tyler's analysis over Raul Paul any day.
Yeah,
just my opinion.
And Tyler's a member in our Defion Labs exclusive community. He gives out alpha pretty much every single day, like all
Yeah,
day, every
multiple
day.
times. Yeah,
Yeah, and a
yeah.
lot of people don't read it because they don't understand it, and
I mean, half
you
the
know,
stuff
we
I
need to.
don't get because I'm not a trader, but I mean, the gist of
And
his of
he's
his
not really a
information
trader
is
either, dude. He's a long term investor.
he is,
I
but
would.
he understands charts to for those long. I don't. I'm just not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
chart
yeah,
person,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
I know the bulk of his thesis. I definitely coincide with.
yeah. I want to talk about towards this end. We're 45 minutes in. I want to talk about the future of Defiant Labs. I want to talk about what what we're gonna do and how we're gonna make this a great channel because we're a smaller account. We're the hardest working nobodies in crypto. What is the future of Defiant Labs? Do you have any thoughts? I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I have a few
Um,
thoughts. And
it's funny that you asked me that. We didn't even talk about this prior to getting on, but I was thinking today. We remember the guy that we were on the Bitcoin morning show. We did his space. We did a space
Mhm.
on there, and he like had us on there, and we talked and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He's still doing a morning show, and he has a YouTube channel,
yeah,
and his subscriber base is kind of like ours with the YouTube. Like he's trying to get it going, like not a whole ton of views. And dude, he works hard. He was like live streaming from the Bitcoin conference and stuff like that. And I was thinking of sending him a message because he had him on, he had us on his spaces. I was thinking of saying, hey, would you like to jump on our podcast one of these Wednesday nights and let us interview you and kind of like talk about
mhm,
your contributions in the Bitcoin space, what you're doing, and how we could collaborate and potentially network with them. I had just the first thing I thought of when you said that was kind of that idea.
yeah. I think it's important to bring on more guests, and that's what we're going to work on for the future is bringing on more guests, more different perspectives. Whether it doesn't even have to be just Bitcoin, it could be crypto. It's crypto and Bitcoin are different things. It could be blockchain. It could be you know macroeconomic economics. It could be anything. So I think in the future we're going to have a lot more guests coming on. Um, and we're just gonna keep pumping out our short form clips, man. Like it's tough. Even on X, it's tough to grow, you know. But consistency and persistence is the way to go. So that's something we have to keep doing.
Unfortunately, if you're not bombastic or if you're not saying controversial stuff every day or if you're not like constantly shit posting and shit replying and you're just not going to hit the algorithm and you're not going to get the necessary traction that's needed to grow. Like even doing this channel here, like we could make outlandish clips and
Hmm.
post them and sometimes like the short form content that we've done that's gotten the most views have usually had some sort of controversial thing that we say, like the ones where
It's
we're just
always
giving
core.
straight information and straight alpha and just like giving you like the straight facts and telling you what you should know. Those they don't hit. Like
Our,
it's usually
yeah,
something that's like and I honestly, to be 100% transparent and honest, I hate that about social media and I hate that about
yeah,
content creation.
yeah. Our most viral video was the one about you talking about how Shiba Inu is never going to a dollar,
I know,
and then
like, and people actually like commented pissed off that I would
yes,
even
it
say that.
will. They're gonna burn tokens. It's gonna drive the price up. No, that's not how it works. Maybe to
Yeah,
a certain extent, but like you gotta, you know, I don't know. I'm just very optimistic
we
for these
we
next.
probably we probably dropped the ball too. Like we probably should have, and I was busy, so it was hard for me to do it last week. But um, we probably should have had some live content going on during the Bitcoin conference and kind of like talking about it in real time because it probably would have got views because people are watching that. We probably could have live streamed something during that. We kind of dropped the ball on that. We even could have done it on Saturday. Like even if like me and you would have just like jumped on a Zoom for 40 minutes and live streamed
I
it.
was thinking that like a space.
Yeah,
Um,
we could. I
another
mean,
thing.
for me,
Another.
I mean, I've been pretty vocal about like I think the best opportunity for growth, and it's the hardest, is here on YouTube. Like I think if you can hit on YouTube and you can grow on YouTube, like that just makes it
Yeah.
much more easier for every other platform. Like getting a lot of followers on X and doing, yeah, like you can get monetized on there, but like what are you gonna get a check for $30? Like, and what are you really doing? Like you got to do a lot of shit posting, and it's like the content you're providing is gonna have to not be that valuable, honestly, if you want to monetize it. Whereas here, I think we have a better opportunity if we really
Mhm.
focus hard on the YouTube, which is hard. It's very hard to do, and we've been trying, and we stay, I mean, relatively consistent. I mean, here we are. We're coming up on 2 years later. I mean, we started this thing in what, October of 22. So I mean, here
That's
we're in July of
crazy.
24, so or almost August. So we're almost 2 years into this thing,
Yeah, we
and
haven't.
we're gonna go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm very optimistic till the end of like over the course of this year and next year. I think a lot more people are gonna start like chiming in and joining and getting involved in this space. We sometimes we just have to appreciate how far we've came. We're sitting at the forefront of a new how do I say this? This is like better than the internet. Like this is going to be bigger than the internet, and we're at the forefront of it. Whether we get viewers or not, we're exposed to this industry. We have skin in the game. We are not sidelined. We are high conviction individuals that believe in this industry so much that we're going live. We're doing all we can to just provide as much value to the ecosystem, to the ethos, as much as we can. And that's that's a clap because dude, we're at the forefront of this industry, and most people like don't even just understand it. And I don't want to compare it to other people, but like Bitcoin's growing, man. It's bigger than ExxonMobil. It's passing silver. It's Trump. I don't know if that was like a grifting quote you said about how it'll probably pass gold, but I'm sure it will at some point. So just stay the course. Keep educating yourself. You need to put your 10,000 hours in, no matter what. Like, and even once you hit, if you hit 10,000 hours, do another 10,000 hours. Master your craft, control your emotions, never stop learning, never stop growing. Because as soon as you stop growing, you're just going to be back 6 months where you were when you weren't growing. Like you just have to always be pushing forward. And that's what I'm learning as we doing this podcast together. It's like we've been doing this for 2 years. We're still like not getting off the ground, and that's fine. That's I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot from you, and I hope I'm providing some value in this as well. But I'm here for it. Moving forward, we're going to be doing virtual Zooms, so I kind of like the setup. I looked at it on Facebook. It's split down the middle, so we're both kind of like showing like we're both involved. I have a few questions. I'll leave that till the end. But do you have any clothing statements or anything you want to give to the viewers? Some alpha, just some words of wisdom.
Well, yeah, I mean, going back along the lines of what you were just talking about, I think that for me, and I like to keep it 100 and be transparent. Like it's frustrating to me seeing the top accounts and the biggest influencers. We've talked about that word before in our space that I don't think are providing good value anymore. At one point in time, they were, and that's kind of how they grew, most of them. But I think like a lot of these accounts are just like, they're some of them are just basically resting on the laurels of what they did to get where they are, and they don't really either feel like it or there's a sense of entitlement. I don't know what it is, but I think a lot of the content is honestly trash, and because of that, it affects all of us because when they come to our space, the first ones they're going to see, the algorithm's going to put out are those big accounts, and if they're not providing value, they're not going to stay long enough to go down the food chain and find us. You know what I mean? I think we suffer from that. So it's frustrating to me knowing that, we put the time in, we put the hard work in, and I mean, we're not perfect by any stretch of the means. And there's always more that we can learn, that we don't get, even mid-tier eyeballs on us to share the good conversations and allow for the discourse that needs to be happening in our space, because there's a lot of echo chambers. You see those big channels, it's the same people on all the time. You hear the same shit recycled over and over again. Nobody pushes back on anything. Everything's hunky-dory, or the sky's falling, or we're going to 1,000,000. It's never just like the real conversations about the space and like, talking about, okay, like, yeah, Trump spoke, it's great, but like the speech really wasn't that good. And it's like, it's okay to feel that way. Or, like having these real talks about like how we feel about just content creating, or like collaborating with other people that aren't big, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're ever blessed enough to be a larger account, like one of the things that I would 100% want to do and commit to doing is find one of those accounts that have like 100 followers or 100 subscribers or 200 subscribers and be like, yo, I'm going to throw you a bone. I saw some of your shit. We're interviewing you. Come talk on our channel. We're going to give it 20 minutes. See what you got. You know what I mean? Like doing that. And I don't think like these bigger accounts are like, hey, you got to pay me 20 grand for me. Hey, like that's not organic. It's not, I mean, I understand people want to make money, and I understand that there's, for some of these people, that's their job, whatever the case may be. But I think we do a lot of disservice to our industry and to this space, instead of helping. Like a lot of other industries, there's a lot of like helping out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you got the sports podcast, and these dudes are jumping on each other's podcasts and sports stuff. And some of these, it's like us, it's like kill or be killed, and everybody's a shark, and it's like nobody wants to help nobody out.
It's player versus player in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've reached out to a couple, and it's like there's always a fee associated with like, no, dude, like let's just jump. You jump on, I jump. I don't care if you got 10,000 followers and we have 3. Like, let's just have a conversation. Maybe you learn something from me, I learned something from you. Like, I don't know that I honestly, I absolutely love filming. I love the content creation. I love doing the podcast, but I hate that aspect of content creation.
Yeah, and that's it's all right. It's a double-edged sword, and we're gonna fight through it and just keep pushing content. It's still early in this ecosystem, so as long as we're consistent, I'm sure things will take off. But like what I like to say is, you don't have to believe us. You could just don't trust, verify. And that's how
It's
we
all
end the
just,
podcast.
it's all conversation, man. There's nothing. Nobody has a monopoly on the truth. Nobody has a monopoly on ideas, right? We're just two guys that have ideas and opinions, and we share them. And we've been wrong. We'll continue to be wrong, but like we'll talk it out and we'll talk through it. And hopefully at some point in time we get interaction from a community that holds us accountable, and we can have interactions with and conversations, and then we get exposure to other people's communities. And like it's like the money part is cool, like being monetized and getting paid is obviously cool. Like, why wouldn't that be? But for me, it's like exposing yourselves and your ideas to other people's ideas. Like I love people think I love to argue. I really don't. I love to like have conversations and to be proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's really like I had a conversation in a thread on either Facebook or Twitter. I can't remember what it was. And I said completely honestly, like this wasn't like rhetorical bullshit. I said it was on Facebook. It was on Facebook. I said one of my favorite things is to be wrong on something and to change my position.
Yeah.
If I said I love that.
That's how you learn.
I come across like very opinionated, and it's almost like my way or the highway sometimes, and I get that people think that. But dude, when I'm proven wrong or I can be shown a different way, I love that. I'm like, wow, dude, I really just learned something. And even more importantly, I'm keeping myself open-minded enough to change and shift my position on that. I really like that. I know we're running short on time, and you said you had a couple questions, so let's do that so we can wrap things up.
So my question was something off the live, but we could wrap this up right now. I think this is a very productive call, and I'm glad we're going to build that momentum back. I missed a couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm excited for this, and we're gonna push some. We're gonna go hard with the content creation. So whoever's viewing this or views this or watches till the end, I really do appreciate it. I'm not asking for much, just a like. Share this with a friend if you found value in this, if you like hearing us speak, and leave a comment. And like we were just saying, we like to be wrong. So if your comment goes against what we're saying, we're open to that ideology where we could, learn from it and maybe have a constructive criticism conversation where we both, could get something out of it without it, being a, fist to fist, going at each other's throats. But
So some of the feedback that I've gotten from people, and we can end on this. Some of the feedback I've gotten from people are like, "Hey, like I like the way that you guys talk about things. You guys sound like you really know what you're talking about, but like the content that you're talking about specifically, I don't understand it well enough. It sounds like it's a different
I
language." So
know,
like
but we can't
I know.
cater
So
to.
so the point that I'm trying to get to in regards to that is it would help if you're one of those people and you're hearing me say this right now, that you comment on this video and tell us specifically, like if I were to watch a video on Bitcoin or crypto, this is what I would want to hear, or this is what I would want to learn, right? Because we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things for an hour and not all of it's going to hit with you or resonate. But I'm sure if you clicked on this video or clicked on any videos, you're thinking something in your head that you wish was covered or wish was explained. Use the comment space to write exactly what that is, and then next video we can cover it. And then you have the ability to have like discourse individualized with me and Troy, because not a lot of people are commenting, and we can actually address that, and you can get like a one-on-one free like learning session for that 5 or 10 minute block that we spend on whatever it is that you ask us. So
Mhm.
we'll end on that. Comment, like, subscribe, share, and most importantly, in anything and everything in life, and especially with Bitcoin, don't
Don't
trust,
trust,
verify.
verify.
See you guys
Wait,
next week.
before, all right, you can end the live, but can I stay on for a second?
Yeah.